Hi guys, thanks for joining us again on the channel. So, there's a reason I haven't talked about this one until now. It's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but because I needed to get it right. And now, the wait's over. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details. Starting things off, our first reviewer gives us their perspective.
This reviewer found this router to be a fantastic, albeit not perfect, solution for getting a stable internet connection in their RV. It required a bit of research to get it working with their specific mobile internet SIM, so it wasn't exactly plug and play. However, the effort was well worth it. The standout feature for this client was the ability to lock the device onto specific LTE bands. Their previous gateway would often connect to a nearby, but heavily congested tower, resulting in poor speeds. By forcing this router onto a less crowded band from a farther tower, their connection jumped from a sluggish 20 Mbps to a solid 100 plus Mbps. For a mobile setup, several features made this device particularly suitable. It runs on a standard 12-volt system, which made hardwiring it directly into the RV's electrical system a simple and inexpensive task. The reviewer also praised its high operating temperature tolerance, allowing them to leave it running to monitor the vehicle remotely, even when the interior gets extremely hot during storage. The user interface is straightforward, and it offers great flexibility with features like dual SIM slots for automatic failover and a selectable WAN LAN port, which lets you use it as either a primary internet source or as a backup for another connection. It does have a few minor drawbacks. The Wi-Fi is a more basic 2x2 setup, and while the LTE antennas are detachable, the Wi-Fi antennas are internal and required a bit of do-it-yourself modification to connect to an external antenna. The case is also significantly larger than the components inside, which is a small issue when space is at a premium. Lastly, it lacks a USB port. Despite these small shortcomings, our reviewer found this device to be an excellent and high-performing piece of equipment for their specific needs on the road.
Wonderful. Now, let's explore the feedback from our next reviewer.
This reviewer wanted to share their experience with this 4G LTE router, especially after struggling with other similar products from a well-known brand. Our reviewer had used 3 different units from that brand and was constantly dealing with disconnects. It became a real headache, which made this client initially hesitant when trying this new router. However, this particular 4G LTE router has been a game changer. The client has experienced rock-solid stability with 0 disconnects since setting it up. While our reviewer doesn't use the built-in Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi is handled by a separate mesh system, the client did mention that it appeared to be functioning normally. The admin interface is functional, though it took a little digging to find everything. The best feature, according to our reviewer, is the band locking capability. Being able to experiment with different bands, run speed tests, and then lock off the slower ones has been incredibly helpful. The automatic restart timer is also a nice touch. Initially, our reviewer had one small gripe: the carrier aggregation seemed unpredictable. Sometimes speeds would jump significantly, but other times it seemed to be running on a single band. This client later updated their review, initially keeping the 4-star rating because they hadn't figured out the carrier aggregation. But after purchasing an extender from the same brand with mesh compatibility, the setup was painless. The mesh system worked great, and our reviewer then watched the carrier aggregation, noting that it kicks in when needed. And the best advice for carrier aggregation is don't lock off all but one band. As a final result, our reviewer upgraded the rating to 5 stars and recommend the router.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer has been pleasantly surprised by this router's performance. Compared to some of the more common options out there, this particular device has provided significantly better speeds. In fact, our reviewer found it outpaced even the gateway provided by a major mobile internet provider. However, this client stresses the importance of doing your homework before purchasing. You can't just pop any SIM card into this router and expect it to work seamlessly. Mobile carriers have become much more vigilant about unauthorized devices using data plans, especially unlimited ones intended for phones. You might need to contact your carrier to discuss your specific plan and if it would work with this type of device. The ability to fine-tune the router settings is a huge plus for the price. Regarding customer service, some users have complained about response times, but understand that the support team is likely located overseas, so patience is key. The reviewer found them quite pleasant to deal with, even if responses took a day or two. If you're someone who needs a lot of hand-holding when setting up new tech, this might not be the right choice for you. If the concept of IMEI sweeps or unauthorized devices sounds foreign, it's probably best to look elsewhere. Do your research on tech blogs or contact your cellular provider about your plan. Update: our reviewer has noticed an issue when accessing the router settings repeatedly. After logging in several times, they often have to clear their browser cache to avoid getting stuck in an endless initializing loop, which prevents them from making changes. There's also a reset settings function, but it doesn't seem to clear all the configurations, such as the SSIDs or passwords. They are awaiting clarification from customer service about the exact purpose of this reset function. In terms of performance, our reviewer noted comparable speeds to an older setup involving a modem and a separate router. However, this row.
And that's it. If this video helped, hit like and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching.